Hello there, Ray here, and 1.13 pre-release 3 is out for the aquatic update. Now with this one comes a lot of changes to do with bug fixes, and some of these fixes are almost considered to be features because they're so different. So the first fix with the snapshot is a really big one. This is one I discovered and shared with the community. Essentially, when a piston moves forward, this observer can sometimes move while still being on. So when it's moving, you would see this light up right here as red, and this has now been fixed. So essentially, every time it's moving, it's actually turning off, and then it's only turning on once it's reached its destination. And what was the problem with this is that this would cause it so that the observers would be on when they're moved, and then they would cause power to the block immediately, which is not what you want. This change was pretty obvious with a setup like this, where the piston would be pulsed. And what we were seeing before is that this observer would turn on red, and it would just stay on red. And now we no longer see this. They finally added the feature where if you have a dispenser and you power it with bone meal inside of it and you do this underwater, it can create seagrass. So if I just power this up, you see it created seagrass, even creates seagrass above the dispenser itself, which is kind of strange. But yeah, it's pretty awesome. This is going to make seagrass farms a little bit different. You can automate it a little bit more, but it's not going to make it completely different because it's not going to be the same as like a seed grass where you would power the surface and then shift the floor to break off flowers and seeds. Because with seed grasses, you have to go ahead and shear them with the shears. But now it seems that using a dispenser on land, such as grass, and powering it does not create grass around it, so that seems to be broken. Also, if you place like a small grass in front of it and bone mill it, that doesn't work either. Same goes for like a fern, that doesn't do anything. And also, it doesn't apply to small seagrasses, so if you had a dispenser beside a small seagrass and you bone milled it, it's not going to make this like a tall seagrass. There was a problem when going through these random gateway portals out here at the outer end islands. It would not take you to the main end island, but instead it would take you a distance between one and another one nearby, and they have now fixed this. There used to be air gaps underneath of these lava lakes. These are kind of like those lava ravines that they have added in 1.13, and this seems that they have fixed this, so now it's just solid lava. Something that I discovered early on is that the waterlogged blocks themselves weren't pushing entities. So these blocks would push entities, but this one would not. And this is kind of a crucial thing that they needed to fix, and they have fixed it. So if we go ahead and throw an item into the stream, even though it starts over here inside the waterlog block, you can see it still gets the current and gets moved over here. Same goes for the other types of waterlog stuff, and even if you get like entities in here and players, this makes it very useful because in some situations you want to like use the waterlog blocks to hold back even mobs or even entities and align them and stuff. And this way you can have like a mob come in here and then he'll be moved along into your farm. So that's really cool. They fixed the hitboxes of conduit, kelp, as well as fans and even tall grass. They try to make them so that they are similar to their models. So here you can see this is smaller so that if you punch like on the side, you don't punch out the conduit. The seagrass, I didn't say they changed it, but I noticed that this is a lot different than like the grass on the ground. You can see this one don't take up a full block, and neither does the tall one. But if you go look at the grass itself, so the grass is small, but it seems like they still haven't fixed the tall grass. It still takes up a full cube. If you can see that lines there. The coral here, you can definitely see that it is smaller, and it allows you to be able to hit the blocks behind it without interfering with the coral itself. Now, one thing I did notice, and I pointed out a couple snapshots ago, is that they now made it so you can see the outlines of blocks underwater. So you can see the hitbox as well as any other block that you look at. And this makes it really nice. For the longest time, you weren't able to see this. Now, you do notice that these plants do have offset, like this here. The seagrass is offset to the side and kind of sticks over the edges like this. This is actually normal. It was a pretty annoying bug that I showed on stream where if you had a waterlogged block, so essentially a block that's inside of water, and then you try to break blocks that are around it by clicking on the edges like this, you would actually break this block here. And this is because the water itself was a full block and you would break everything inside of it. So they have now fixed it so you can like click on the edge and break blocks beside it without breaking the waterlogged block here. And also what was strange with it, if you would right click right here, you would actually be able to open and close this trapdoor even though you're not facing it. So they fixed this as well. And if you were capable of placing a block above this, and if you just clicked on this water here, it would actually place the block on top just like this. Essentially, it would treat this as a full block. So I'm really glad they fixed this because it was pretty annoying. They fixed a bug where boats would immediately sink as soon as placed into the water. Okay, it's not those type of boats, it's these type of boats. But yeah, this has now been fixed. For a long time, people were complaining that the baby horses' necks looked like giraffes and they were too long. And you can see they have changed it so it looks more normal, somewhere sort of like a adult horse's neck, but just shrunken down. And I like this change. And I'm starting to like the horses look. At the start, it looked kind of strange compared to the old horses, but now they're starting to look more rounded. They change it so that the particles that show up from the rain hitting the surface also show up in the ocean, but they don't really show up on the top. You can see it underneath, which I'm not sure if that is intended. Yeah, it looks like maybe it's one block off because it's showing like 1 meter below the surface. And they added back the rain sound in the oceans. There was a bug on stream that we noticed that cod as well as other fish were not suffocating while on the land, and they have now fixed this. And it's kind of strange. We tested it on stream and we found out that the air particles or the air tag that these guys are having, which is right here, was only going down by 1 at the very start, and then it would just stop and be completely frozen, so they would just constantly live. Rabbits weren't spawning in deserts, and now they are. There was a problem with the sides of water as well as lava not rendering, so they essentially look clear, and you can now see that this has been fixed. It fixed a bug with water not being able to destroy carpet. There was a problem with mobs not able to leave a carpet, they're just getting stuck on it. That has now been fixed. It fixed it so you can see grass as well as ferns on your map again, and also cobwebs. You can see this X here that I made out of them. It corrected the water color of swamp hill biomes. They fixed a strange bug where the flowing water itself would start to freeze into ice blocks, which is quite strange even if you would have the source blocks covered up, and they have not fixed this. This is a bit of a strange generation in the floor of this plains. You can see that this block here has a cobble that's exposed directly to the surface, no caves or anything. But if we actually look underneath, we can see that there is a lava pool, and I'm guessing this lava pool maybe tried to remove this grass block up here. And anyways, it's you got some exposed coal ore here. There still seems to be this problem here where you can see that a lot of dolphins generate with structures. That's these underwater ruins here. And I seem like this, I would consider this like a bug because there is excessive amount of dolphins for just the few runes that there is here. And all these dolphins have persistence required 1, which is a lot of entities that will never despawn. And these weird kind of congregation of dolphins occur. I don't know if there's like an item in here that they're all looking at. I can't quite see it, but they're all trying to come to the center location. And I guess this guy's trying to go out, but these guys are trying to go in. Not quite sure, but you see this in some of the runes the dolphins generate with them. Now this is the third 1.13 pre-release that they have came out with, and I do feel like we are getting very close to coming out with the official release. I do feel that there also is quite a few bugs that need to be addressed before they actually do the full release, and I will be doing a video explaining what bugs I believe should be fixed before they do the full release, and I would love to hear you guys' information on what bugs you find to be annoying or just downright bad to have in the game while we upgrade into 1.13. This is the time that they will try to go ahead and remove those bugs and fix them. Otherwise, sometimes these bugs never get fixed, similar to like how dogs still don't allow you to get some type of loot from mobs such as wither skulls or even like spider eggs. You cannot get them if your dog kills these mobs, and they just happen to like completely forget about this kind of stuff once you get past into the full release. So we need to try to really push towards getting these fixed prior. Overall, I believe that Mojang did a pretty good job with its pre-release. And I want to thank you guys for watching, and if you guys found this interesting, show me the like and share this with others. If you'd like to see more 1.13 content, go ahead and subscribe and hit that bell button. And of course guys, tell me the bugs that you think should be fixed for 1.13 down in the comments. Bye bye!